And I know that people were instructed to bring their kids, and some of you apparently didn't, I think, which is unfortunate. But in general, it really depends on what I'm speaking to. If I'm speaking to a school, like this morning I spoke at GW Steen Elementary, then, it would be all kids. On the other hand, when I'm speaking at a conference like TED, or at Sandstone, or at Idea City in Toronto, or something like that, mostly all adults, which is again something I'm trying to change. One of the reasons that I founded my own TEDx event was because I would go to these conferences where I heard great ideas, but I wanted to bring that to other kids my own age.
The question I have as a parent is, when is a child old enough that a parent should stop protecting them from disappointment?
When is a child old enough for their parents to stop protecting them from disappointment? That's a good question. I think to some extent, it's a gradual thing. I mean, I think it was one of the important things for me was that I learned very early on I can't get everything I want. And if we grow up thinking, oh, I'll get everything I want, I can just go out there, everything I do will be successful, then we will get disappointed a lot harder when we finally do. So it's a gradual thing. I mean, I think from a very young age, kids can handle, no, I can't get everything that I want. And then whether you take it further than that, I think over the next years is up to your discretion. But I think really the idea that you can't get everything you want, that not everything you do will necessarily work out, that's something that you have to realize early on. But the idea that even though something may not work out, you should still go ahead and do it and try new things, I think is equally important to learn along with that.
So based on your interaction with people of all ages, when does a kid stop being a kid?
When does a kid stop being a kid? Good question. Well, there are some adults I know who are still absolute kids at heart. I mean, whether it's just because you eat a lot of candy or, that's not what I call a kid at heart necessarily. But you never have to stop being a kid. I mean, surely you lose some of that, okay, I'm just going to go out there and dance in my underwear sort of thing unless you're really drunk, but, which is not a good way to be a kid, okay? Like, that's just embarrassing. So I would say that around, like the teenagers, around how old I am, I see a lot of peers who are just trying to grow up, trying to mature. But I think one of the most important lessons that I have for kids my own age is not to make fun of people because they're different or because they're seemingly not mature. Because a lot of the great ideas that I've gotten have been from people who are younger than I am. So my answer would be probably around the teenage years. It starts to do with peer pressure and society and going to school. You think, okay, I should act in a certain way. Probably around.
I'm interested in a little more commentary on social media playing a role in our political process. You mentioned Obama's campaign. We've just gone through a mayoral race where social media played a huge role and resulted in an underdog winning. One of the concerns that I think some people my age had as an observer was young people showing up, encouraged by their friends on Twitter or Facebook to vote, which seemed like a really positive thing, but a lot of them showed up completely uneducated on the issues or the candidate. It was a social fad movement, the same as it might be for a rock concert. Is that positive in your mind in the political process, or is it negative because we have the potential for fad candidates? And how, I guess, do we get young people engaged in a meaningful way?
That's a very good question, and I know I've been saying that to everyone, but it's very good. It's true. No, I'll be saying that's an extremely excellent question to the next person who ups the... okay, but to get to the question, I definitely see what you mean with the social media. Like, for instance, when I was talking about Obama, a lot, actually, I was more for Hillary Clinton. Our family was kind of divided along those lines. My mom and I were Hillary Clinton, and then my sister and my dad were Obama. And I felt that my sister was going for Obama not so much because she had read up on the issues and seen his TV, but more because all of her friends liked Obama. And I mean, my sister is very smart, and I think that she might have liked Obama because of other reasons as well. But I do definitely see some of that social media bringing, or the bandwagon, and I think that it's mixed. To me, when a person votes not knowing about the issues and the politics and everything, that's negative if you just look at it that way. But the fact that young people are becoming involved and are taking the time to go and vote, that would be positive. So if you divide it along those lines, I think it's I'm not a fan of people voting if they have no idea why they're doing so. I think that if you just have to have at least one reason beyond because my friends told me so. But at the same time, I think that, so again, I'm kind of wobbling here. I'd be an excellent politician, I suppose. I think overall, if people aren't educated and they're voting, then that's a negative effect. I mean, like, I try to read, basically, my parents direct that I vote for them because I fill in the really easy on some of the ballots sometimes. Well, no, actually, I asked their permission first, but since they are the voters after all. But I do read the voters pamphlet, I inform my mom about issues, and I say, this is this initiative, etc. And I go over that with my